What's up, everybody? Tim Anderson here, aka Renfill, the bearded dwarven princess, and this ties into today's Baldur's Gate 3 patch because, along with the reveal of bards and gnomes, they also showed off the new hair system and the fact that you can have beards on any gender, so you can really be a bearded dwarven princess or a bearded gnome princess. Whatever you want to be, you can do it. So let's dive in. This is the update. I've been watching the reveal panel from Hell, and we got the Bard reveal today. Some people were hoping for the Paladin, but we did get the Bard. It looks pretty sweet. The Gnome Race is interesting, but I think the big thing everyone wants to hear about is the Bard. So we're going to dive into that today. So let's get going. So first and foremost, they revealed that the Bard is a caster class. I've got a series of notes here, so if you see me looking down, well, that's I'm reading from my list here. The Bard is a caster class. They did show off during the leveling process at level 3 you get a subclass, the College of Lore or the College of Valor. The College of Lore, they said, is more of a caster style with spells and so on and so forth, whereas the College of Valor is more of a combat style subclass where you're focused more on some armor buffs and weapon proficiencies and this, combat stuff for those of you who are going to be more combat inclined. Um, the cool thing about this was the starting instruments, which, as far as I understand things, don't necessarily impact your gameplay so much as it's just a visual and audio style that will change the way you play the game in the sense of what you're hearing when you play instruments and so on and so forth. So that was really, really, really cool. But one of the things I thought was the super interesting fact was the insults. There are 97 insults across the game. They've recorded them for every single one of the voices for the characters, so they've done a lot of voice work here. But the insults are pretty interesting because they do obviously have a detrimental effect to your enemies if they stick. It's really cool. I really liked that part. We do, of course, not to throw away the gnome mention, gnome with 3 different sub races. Similar to how the other sub races work, you're getting some pros to each one of these depending on what style of gnome you want to play. But the big thing for me was the new hair reveal. Now, I think they've mentioned beards in a previous entry, which is all well and good. Beards are great. But this reveal in particular, they showed off the new snapping feature for hair and the fact that you can now have any hairstyle and any beard across any gender of the character combinations, which is amazing news if you are someone like me who believes that all dwarven women should have beards. But now, not only can dwarven women have beards, all the elven women and the gnomish women and so anybody can have a beard, anybody can have hair. This is really cool for allowing you to create whatever you want to create and role play whatever it is that you want to role play in the world of Forgotten Realms. So kudos to Larian Studios and the Baldur's Gate 3 team for making that happen. Now, they obviously showed us some combat stuff here and there, which is cool. Combat's always cool. Um, and I think for me, you're getting some new spell effects and some new visuals with what the bard can do in combat, which is great. It's always great. But combat for me is the least exciting part of Baldur's Gate. For me, as much as combat is fun, I'm looking forward to the roleplay opportunities with this game because it is tabletop in a virtual environment, and we've got some really cool stuff to talk about over the rest of this video. But before we get to that, here's where I do the call to action, which is if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can get updates like this in the future. I did play through the original launch of Baldur's Gate 3 Early Access when it came out. I did the Rogue, I then did a Ranger. I have been holding off. I tested a little bit of the Druid, but we've been holding off, waiting. And I think this summer, myself, Nathan Napalm, Sparrow, perhaps some others are going to be looking at doing a multiplayer playthrough. So make sure you stay tuned for that because it will be coming down the pipeline at some point. If you want to support the channel, there's a variety of ways you can do so. You could join as a member of the Adventurers Guild, which is that button down there. It's $2.99 a month. We do a lot of cool stuff for our members here. I stream almost every single day. During live streams, you can drop super chats, stickers, things of that nature where you choose your amount. You can also choose your own amount with that super thanks button down there, which allows you to contribute what you want to my channel to support me as a content creator if you like the type of stuff that I produce and you like my live streams. And of course, if you want to go above and beyond, I'm also a game developer working with my brother and my wife on the world of the Weave and the Void. You can find more information at patreon.com/wandering hermits. It's a point and click game, kind of like King's Quest. There's also a 5th edition tabletop setting. You can get the book now, the source book, and the first module. We live stream it every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Central. There's also a book series, all be done through the Patreon. So check all that stuff out. Now, let's get back to the juicy stuff for Baldur's Gate 3. They showed off the Jack of all trades passive feature for the Bard, which is really cool because it basically adds a +1 across various roles because you're kind of good at everything, and it is a Bard specific class item, class passive, which is really, really cool. But I think for me, one of the coolest things I saw in today's um, presentation was performance for the Bard class. So, depending on what your instruments is, what instrument you're using, this is going to change what it sounds like and what it looks like visually. But basically, performance is where you can go up to nearby NPCs and you can start to perform. And there's a variety of performance actions you can take. This will then do a check in the background, and if someone nearby has bardic type abilities, they might join in with your song. They might start clapping, they might start singing, they might pull out an instrument, I think is something they mentioned. And if they pass a big enough check, if you pass a good enough check, NPCs will start throwing gold at you for your for actually what you're the song that you're performing. Now all that's really cool. However, the coolest thing I saw in the presentation that I watched, and I didn't watch the whole thing, full disclosure, I didn't watch all the combat stuff because I don't want to spoil it for myself because I do actually want to go through and play the Bard myself. Um, but I loved this part where they said that you can use performance as a means to distract NPCs. And so they went up to those little tiefling kids who robbed from you and had a couple people in the party, right? So had the bard do the performance check to lure the kids away. The kids got distracted by the performance, and while they're over there, clapping their hands and joining in on the songs, Gale snuck up and robbed some stuff off the table. Now, obviously, it didn't quite work the way they wanted it to work during the demo because Gale was seen during this because who knows, bugs. But I love the fact that you can use songs and performance as a distraction to pull people away, so that you could sneak by them. You could use it as a distraction to get out of combat. You can use it as a distraction to steal something. Really cool feature. And also the fact that performance, it says that non bards can also play instruments via a feat that anyone can take at level 4, which allows them to perform an instrument, to use an instrument, which means you could get your party in on the action if they also want to play instruments with the bard when they're doing a performance thing. Um, really, really, really cool stuff here. I don't know that I've ever really wanted to play a bard in Baldur's Gate 1 or Baldur's Gate 2, but I have to admit that what I saw here today has me inspired to want to try to play a bard. So perhaps in the live playthrough that we're going to be doing coming up, I might actually try the bard class out and see what it's like with my party. In the meantime, don't forget to check out their videos. There's a lot of quality of life features that they've added, included a use spell UI, um, which you can now search for spells. It's really cool, some of the quality of life features they've added. So check it all out. Look forward to hearing more from you about Baldur's Gate 3. Drop your comments down below. See everybody in the next playthrough. Until then.